We have seen it as an experiment, if you will, because we really had no idea how this was going to go when we started. This area is known for trafficking, and it's also known for not having any believers or churches. Back there, that was known for not having any girls left of marrying age because so many had been trafficked out of their village. These guys walking with 80 pounds on their back in their sandals like it's nothing. When people think about people working against human trafficking, they envision people running into brothels and saving girls out of the red light district, or girls locked in a cage. They go in and they rescue them. And what we do is different than that. We work on the other side of human trafficking. We work on the prevention side. What I have seen is that in places where the church does not exist, we see people more willing to sell their daughters, their wives, their sisters into trafficking for financial gain. Our business started in the capital city of this nation and originally had the purpose of giving jobs to women coming out of human trafficking. As I joined this business, my task was to open an office in an area where girls were at risk in order to prevent the trafficking of girls in the first place. I've always felt this calling to be among the unreached people and to be in the places where the girls are most at risk for being trafficked. So a girl that's trafficked can often find herself, she'll be in a red light district, most likely, and men get 15 minutes with a girl. So you can imagine how many men could come through in, let's say, an 8-hour night as customers for one single girl. Jesus, help us. So instead of asking the girls to leave the comfort of their homes and to leave their families, which is often a ploy that the traffickers would use to get girls to come with them to go overseas or across the border, I decided that it would be better if I moved into the village and we opened up an office where they live. The hike up into this village is not an easy hike. It isn't one where you're kind of strolling through the woods that most people might imagine when you say hike. And because we produce things up in our office, we have to bring supplies up here. And oftentimes the supplies are quite heavy. So we hire porters, our neighbors, to help us bring our supplies up to the office. These are people who are a lot stronger than I am, who are able to carry the supplies that we need to run our office, and really just supplies that we need to live up here as well. The hardest thing for me to maintain, to keep going, is separation from my family. That is the biggest struggle that I have living in this area. It isn't the mountain, it isn't the dirt, it isn't the leeches, it isn't the people, it isn't even the food. It's really the separation from people that I love back home. I built this greenhouse. I've had mediocre success. I had a bunch of stuff last year. It's a lot more work than you think, maintaining that thing, so I sort of gave up. We're here. No. Hello. Hello. Hi. Hi. You're big now. You're big now. Yeah. Tulo bayo, eh? Oh. Hi. Hi. The girls we hire up here in our village office are girls who, first and foremost, are not in school. So we're looking for the young girls who we would deem to be at risk in this village. Again, who don't maybe have a father or mother, or maybe someone's disabled, or those that just have some disadvantage over the others. When they come to work with us, it takes some time for us to train them. So we do spend and invest maybe 3 to 6 months before they're able to produce anything that we can actually sell. They're either producing products from repurposed sari material on our sewing machines, or they're learning how to cut metal into jewelry pieces, either necklaces, earrings, bracelets, that kind of thing. And so they're doing what we call metalsmith work here. Our business creates jewelry and other accessory items, home goods, that we then export and sell in the West. Every day between 3 and 4, it's just the last hour of the workday, I give the girls an opportunity to learn something new. So this is optional. They don't have to participate in this time. So during that hour, we teach a variety of things. We teach them either to read and write if they don't know how to read and write. We teach them geography, I teach them math, we teach them English. But we always, every day, also include a Bible story. And so from day one, we did very high-level storytelling from creation all the way to Revelation. When I first arrived in the village, I thought mostly my ministry would be not only to my staff, but to the neighbors, to the adults, to the women and the men in this village, where we could, share God's truth with them. But we have built relationships mostly with our neighbors, our immediate neighbors, just by blessing their children, actually. We do a lot of work with the kids in the neighborhood in terms of helping them with their homework and just creating a safe place for them to come and play and hang out. And in doing so, we have made friends with their parents. One of our immediate neighbors is a senior witch doctor in our village. When you use the word witch doctor, it brings to the imagination someone who conjures up evil spirits and makes curses on people and dances around a fire in crazy garb. And there might be some like that around the world for sure. But our neighbor, he's not like that at all. He's actually a really nice guy. He helps us out with a lot of things. He helps carry our supplies up the mountain. He hangs out with us at the campfire from time to time. He lets his kids come over and hang out with us all the time. We've had many spiritual discussions with him. We've shared the gospel with him on more than one occasion. Interestingly enough, he doesn't have any objections against Christianity. He actually says it sounds great. The main problem with him not wanting to become a Christian, the main thing that is holding him back from making that decision is what people will think of him. Culture and tradition is highly valued in this area, and someone who leaves the culture or tradition of their ancestors is looked down upon. It's a shameful thing to do. And so it would ruin his reputation. It would just ruin what people thought of him. It would make life really difficult for him. And that is the main thing that holds him back from walking forward in what I think he believes to be truth, but is afraid to admit it. However, 6 out of 8 of his children have become believers. And one of them is now, she's been working with me for 6 years now. When we opened up our office, she was brought as someone I should hire. She grew up in a stable, another 2 hours up the mountain away from society, living with her grandparents, and basically was a shepherdess, never been to school, didn't really even know how to behave in society. And when I looked at her, I thought, wow, this girl looks like a wild jungle girl, grew up in the, the wilds of this mountain area, and she would hardly say 3 words to me and wouldn't look me in the eye, and she was about 15 at that time. Since then, I have seen her respond to the gospel message, become a strong believer. She's learned how to read, how to write. She can speak English. She leads the services at the small fellowship up here now. When the Bible talks about you're a new creation in Christ, she is the poster child for that. She is exactly what I would imagine that to be, changed through knowing Jesus. It's been amazing to see. Now we can say that there are believers in this village, and we can say that there's a small church in this village.
She'll be good and tired for tonight, though.
And my hope is also that as communities are transformed by the gospel, that trafficking no longer happens in these areas as well.